Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have all had quite a long session starting since the morning. All the same, it gives me great pleasure to be here and to be addressing you all at this 4th DA's conclave. As a former defense attaché myself, I can understand the importance and value of such a conclave. We did not have any such initiative when I went abroad and when I was deployed abroad in Myanmar. Neither did we have anything like this in India, nor did we have anything like this in the host country. In fact, as far as the host country was concerned, they tried to keep us as far away as possible. So indeed, it is a really great initiative by Mr. Gokhale and Bharat Shakti to have organized such an event, and that this event is very sought after and successful is apparent by the attendance, in spite of many other events and activities happening in the capital concurrently. And I'm particularly happy to see the doyens of the Indian industry present here, and it is my good fortune to have met you all today. I would normally only seen your pictures in the papers, in the business pages or on TV, so it is really my good fortune. We also have a lot of stalls laid out to my right, which we saw in the morning. We are grateful to all of you all to have come and displayed the range of inventory that we have, and I'm sure all of us will benefit from having seen all this today. Having had a long session, I will just like to flag one or two points for your consideration, and I'm sure this would serve us in good stead in times to come. One is, as far as the government is concerned, the government is committed to maximum governance and least amount of bureaucratic interference. I think that is one aspect which all of you all really are concerned about. We are making our full efforts to ease out how business is done. We are going in for various strategic partnerships to ensure that procurements, especially defense procurements, can be fast-tracked and we don't keep bothering each other or have interminable delays as far as this is concerned. So we will definitely try to make the environment more conducive to business. But let me also assure you that as the users, we also find some of these procedures equally cumbersome. So as users, we are also trying to make sure that our procedures and the rules that we make are not so stringent that there cannot be any scope for exclusions in them, to make sure that we don't hit dead ends and we have some way of overcoming a seemingly insurmountable problem. As I mentioned earlier this week in another seminar, all these rules are not written in stone. They have been made by men and women like you and me, and if necessary, these rules can be changed and be made more user-friendly. And that is our endeavor. The DPP and the DPM both are under revision, and they are always dynamic in nature. Anytime you all feel that there is scope for improvement, change, amendment, It's a two-way process. You all must discuss with us. We on our part will also try to accommodate as many as of these amendments are required to make sure that we can proceed ahead. Another issue which I would like to touch upon is on creating a level playing field. We have amongst us many MSMEs, many startups, and also very well established companies. How do we make sure that everyone gets a level playing field? Obviously, a startup cannot compete with a well-established industry. At the same time, we have to encourage them also to come into the field. After all, everyone started off small. Nobody reached where he is today right in one go. So we look forward to partnering with new industries, new ventures, and helping them grow side by side. I know there are many provisions in the DPP, in the DPM, which say a company's turnover should be so and so rupees, lakh rupees. The startup says, but how can I compete? I've just started up today. I get checked out right in the beginning. So obviously we have to have some way to make sure that they can also participate in the whole process. So these are just one example that I wanted to give, that how we have to go ahead and ensure that there is an opportunity to everyone to compete, to participate in this entire process and grow together. I think we are all on one page as far as the defense industry is concerned, and we are aware that in the coming years we will be spending a lot on defense and security as a whole. It should be our endeavor that in the coming years, most of this expenditure that we are going to incur should stay within the country and not go abroad. And that is where all of us have to pitch in together. The industry to manufacture the products that we require, and we on our part will make sure that we take what you are giving us. As I mentioned earlier again, that the enemy of good is best. We have been amiss many times in trying to always ask and insist on the best and keep adding on features and additional capabilities in equipment which is under production. And as a result, nothing has ever fructified. So I would like to give this commitment and assurance on my part that whatever you produce, we will take it. Let it be Mark 1. Product improvement will continue. There will be a Mark 2, a Mark 3. After all, if Windows had waited for Windows 10, they would still be rolling it out. There was Windows 1, 2, 3, 4, and he kept taking money from us for every upgrade. So we will take what is available. So unless we take it, experiment on it, use it in the field, how will we know what it is all about? So that is my assurance to you, to make sure that we fully support our indigenous efforts. Speaking on the DRDO's Directors Conference the other day, when Dr. Reddy was also present, our chief had made a mention that the wars of tomorrow will be won by that side which is technologically superior. And I think our DRDO is making a great contribution to that end. I dare say that with the moon mission, the Chandrayaan, we have not just tried to reach for the moon, but we have actually kissed the moon. There will be some certain failures, there will be ups and downs. That is part of R&D. That's part of life. But the DRDO is our partner in this entire process, and we will work together to make sure that we retain the technological edge the next time we go into battle. Wars will be won by the side which has the biggest guns and the biggest ships. But in that, it will also be the one which has got the technologically better ship and better gun, and not just in sheer terms of mass. And as I said, the DRDO is our partner in this entire endeavor. As far as the issue of defense exports is concerned, I understand that it is a difficult market to break into. We are, after all, relatively new players in this field, in this game. Our domestic market is obviously limited for weapons and equipment. There is only that many number of tanks or guns that we can buy, and we are the only users of tanks. Nobody in civil state is going to buy a tank to go to office. So the industry must try to think of how products can be made, of which fields they can step into, which are dual use. A timer for a fuse can be a timer for a fuse, it can be a timer for a microwave or a washing machine. That is how the industry will increase its footprints in the domestic market. But riding on us, we will be the vehicle on which the industry can ride on. The assured market can be with us, our inventory requirement, and then you can further take it forward, expand it into civil street, and thereby increase the penetration and make the entire product more competitive and with a larger usage. And progressing from that is, of course, the defense exports. We have, as I said, we are having this initiative, the Defense Attaches Conclave. I mentioned that we never had anything like this 10 years ago. Our defense attaches abroad have now been tasked with this job to reach out to their host countries, advertise the products that we are making, and help you all in achieving your goals, whatever export goals you all might have. So we are very much partners in this. As far as the defense attaches here who are present here are concerned, we have a wide range of products. These range from entire systems to subsystems, assemblies, and spares, which are required even for your daily maintenance. It is the later part, the sub-assemblies, the components, the spares, the aggregates which are required. That is where I think you all could look at us, especially the regional countries. You can look at us to provide you with these fast-running items rather than going far and wide and increase your costs in getting them from their country of origin. I'm sure you will be able to get the same thing from our Indian industries at 1/3 the cost. That is a point for you all to consider. With that, a few thoughts for your consideration. I will end now. As the last speaker before me mentioned, it is almost lunchtime, everyone's hungry. We will not keep you all from your lunches. But once again, I would like to thank Mr. Nitin Gokhale and Bharat Shakti for having given me this opportunity to come here, interact with you all, and of course see all the products which are on display. Last, and I will reiterate that we are all in this together, we are all one team, and I'm sure we will go back from here enriched and energized to carry forward this goal of becoming self-reliant as far as defense products are concerned. Thank you and Jai Hind.